Hello, and welcome to the first episode of She Speaks STEM. This is a podcast series that interviews women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to gain insights on their careers. Firstly, we have psychologist Aditi Kulkarni. She is from India and is the first guest to our show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Gayatri. And it's a great initiative. And I hope that many people, many girls are getting benefited by this program of yours. Thank you.
All right. So, may we begin with the questionnaire?
Yes, sure.
So, the first question I would like to ask you is what made you decide to pursue a career in psychology? Was there a specific moment that led you to this path?
Yes, absolutely. So when I was doing my home science in um, SNDT University, over there we had a psychology as a subject in our 11th and 12th standard. And I still remember my teacher who used to teach me this particular subject. She made it so interesting for entire class. So I got inspired by her, from her. Okay, I want to pursue this particular subject only.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story.
Thank you.
And did you always know that you wanted to become a psychologist, or did you explore other fields along the way?
So when I was in my 10th standard, that time I was not sure about which subject I will take up as a career. But once I was in my 11th standard and I met this particular teacher, it was very sure in my mind that I want to take psychology only.
And I know you reside in India, but can you explain a bit about the educational path that you took to follow to become a psychologist and the academic rigor in these courses?
Yeah. As per Indian requirements, when we are studying in Mumbai, especially, we have to do our psychology majors to become a psychologist. Means first we have to complete our bachelor's degree in psychotherapy or psychology, and then we have to take up a career wherein we can choose from four paths over here. So industrial psychology, clinical psychology, then counseling psychology. So I chose counseling psychology when I was doing my master's degree. So once you get a master's degree, you become a psychologist.
And would you describe this as a difficult path? And was there anything that you were especially stressed about?
Basically in psychology field there are different sub paths also, like you can become a therapist wherein you become a counselor and help people to come out of their distress, their emotional and mental disturbances. Secondly, you can become a clinical psychologist wherein you diagnose people with proper testing and report making. And third is you can also be a researcher in this field. Now, when I was doing my majors in psychology, I had to study everything. So I was doing testing also. I was also learning different therapies. And there was also a research project. So for me, research was a bit of a challenging subject. So because there were many statistics and experimentation was involved in it. So that was a bit challenging. But overall, I always enjoyed my journey.
Well, connecting to your enjoyment, do you think there's a type of person that is well suited for psychology? And how will you describe a psychologist, a good psychologist?
That's a very good question, I must say. Now, when it comes to psychology field, first of all, you need to be a person who likes to socialize, right? You should be a person who has a personality of meeting people, enjoying conversations with people. If you are a person who enjoys more of loner activities like drawing, painting, or sitting in front of computer and working on it, then it's a bit challenging for such people to become a psychologist, because you are always around with people and you have to listen to them, you have to talk to them. So a good psychologist is always a good listener, right? And also, psychologist is never a person who will give advices to people. Their job is to give them options, to give them right options to choose from. So the end result or the end decision will be always of the clients. As a psychologist, I will not put up my opinions on people, right? So I need to know their goals, I need to understand their goals, and accordingly I have to help them, guide them. That's it.
Wow, what a thorough explanation. What about planning and organizing? How do you plan and organize your routine as a psychologist?
So if you ask me about my current routine, then it's many times different, like because right now I'm freelancing, so I'm having my own clinic in Mumbai. So I have to work according to my clients timings. So of course my clinic timings are set up. There are set timings when I give them appointments, but then sometimes I have to adjust my schedule according to their availability. Because what I have observed, when people are into distress, they need help, they need somewhere immediate help. And then as a psychologist or psychotherapist, we have to be available for them. Otherwise there is a chance that they will lose interest, because they might feel that other person is not sensitive enough to to listen to my needs right now, because they need help right away. So it is important for us to be available for our clients and help them when they are in real need.
Well, adding to this, would you say psychology is a high pressure job and emotionally psychology must be a very emotionally draining job? How would you handle these types of challenges?
Yeah, good question again. So yes, as a psychologist, the more we have to focus upon one more thing. When I was studying my psychology, my teachers or my mentors, they always taught me that we have to always keep on, switch off mode. What does that mean? It means that when you are with the client, you have to give your 100%. You have to help that person to come out of their emotional concerns, but you don't have to get excessively attached with them. So when we get attached to their problems, we relate ourselves with them, then it's a huge task. But if you can become more practical, you can become more helpful to them, then it is really nice thing to do, right? So as a psychotherapist, the main thing which we need to understand, to not stress ourselves with their problems, right? They are going through something and our job is to help them as a third person. When we do that, obviously we get very good results, and our clients are always happy with us, which is very important.
I think this is applicable even to people in their daily lives who get affected by others' problems so easily. But having this switch on, switch off mode, like you discussed, is very beneficial to everyone, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What do you think is the most rewarding part of being a psychologist and the hardest part?
Okay. So the rewarding part is when our client, and especially their caretakers who are, dealing with them regularly, they come to us and then they say that I see huge change in myself, my behavior, my thought process, my emotions. And they say that now I'm able to manage myself. So before meeting you, it was very difficult for me to handle my anxiety, to handle my depression. But now I'm able to come out of it on my own. And they say that thank you to us. That's a very rewarding thing for me as a psychologist. And when it comes to hardest part, of course, there are some clients who have multiple issues, and they are not very willing to come out of it. So then it is bit hard for us because they lack that realization, right? And as a psychologist, that is my limitation, that I cannot force it on somebody. So as I mentioned previously, I cannot force my opinions and my goals on my clients. They have to come up with the goals on which they want to work upon, right? So I feel that is the limitation of every psychologist.
Are there any common misconceptions that people often have about being a psychologist or about the field of psychology itself?
So about everything, there are myths. Like if you have heard from common people, they will say if person is mad, person is disoriented or something, then only they should seek help of a psychologist, right? But that's completely a myth. Rather, every one of us is in a need of a psychologist. So in my opinion, every family should have a psychologist for them, the way we have a family doctor, right? Same way, if we have a family psychologist who will take care of our mental health, it's a really blessing for everyone. Because in at some point of time in our life, we all of us go through some of the major concerns or some hardships. So there should be somebody who is, listener, non-judgmental listener to us, and then we can express ourselves fully to that person, which is really helpful. So I feel everyone should give equal importance to their mental health, the way we give importance to our physical health. So when we fall sick, we immediately take help of the doctor. But when we are emotionally, mentally not feeling so well, why are we hesitating to contact a psychologist, right? So that myth has to be removed from people's mind, because that will help them only.
Or other than others' myths and misconceptions, has your own perspective about psychology changed over the years and all?
Yes, of course. So when I studied my psychology, especially when I took the degree of masters in psychology, it was completely theoretical. So we had internship part, we met people, we did some counseling, but still those cases were not major cases. But when we work as a psychotherapist in our day-to-day life, the challenges are completely different. And very important part is, as a therapist, we can never stop learning new things. So we have to keep upgrading our knowledge. We have to keep studying new things. We have to attend workshops and sessions by other therapists, so that our perspectives always, they we broaden our perspective, and we keep learning new things. And basically, it helps our own clients. When we learn new strategies, we can help our clients to cope up with their problems. So definitely, this field is also always getting updated, upgraded. So as a therapist, I also have to keep myself updated, which is very important.
Wow, psychology seems much more deep and informative than I even expected myself. And
Right.
you say that there's psychology is changing so much, and but currently, are there any trends that are emerging that you're seeing maybe in your clients or maybe in the population in the field of psychology?
Um, yes, so in some of my client, I'm observing this pattern, especially the youngsters, teenagers. They are getting extremely addicted to the screen time, because most of their work, their projects, everything is on the screen. So either they are in front of computers, laptops, or even iPads or phone, very important, right? So yes, that's a big challenge even many parents are facing these days. So especially in India, I'm observing this trend. I'm getting more of such cases wherein students are continuously behind the screens or gaming and phones. So that's quite challenging thing.
And do you have any suggestions for the youngsters that are watching this, how to manage their time and reduce their screen time?
Yes, so when you are deciding to reduce your screen time, first of all, you need to make that decision, that, how long. First, you have to analyze that what is my frequency of using screen. After that, you have to make a decision. Suppose right now I'm using screen for, let's say, 5 hours a day or 10 hours a day. then I have to reduce it to the half at least. So those people who are using their screens for 5 hours, they should target at least 2.5 hours. You can start with the small goals, right? And then whenever you are getting free time, you need to replace that time with something other constructive activities, like you can do some painting, or you can do reading, you can go out for playing. So you have to replace that screen time with something else. Otherwise, if we just take out the screens from your hand, if I take out the mobile from your hand, for example, and I'm giving you nothing instead of that, then you will have that thought, what should I do now? I don't have anything to do. So first plan out your activities. Instead of being on screen, what else I can do, which is more um, knowledge oriented, which is more constructive, which will help me to develop some skills in me, right? And then you can stop using screens. Then it will be fruitful thing for you. This is what I can suggest for now.
And for any young people who want or considering to pursue psychology, do you have any advice for them? It can be anything, maybe an educational path that they should do, maybe how to prepare themselves for the emotional challenges, anything.
Right. So yes, important part will be you need to make yourself emotionally, mentally more stronger to handle your clients, because they are in need. They need your help. So when you are emotionally strong, you can help many people. That is one. Secondly, when you are choosing the path, you need to be sure that are you ready to give it like a, you need to be more of people's person, you can say. You know, you should be in a position to help people. You will also get clients who are not even financially doing well, but they are in need of help. So then we should not say no to them. So that altruistic motive, as we say, that has to be there in our mind, right? And thirdly, you have to always remember about switch on, switch off mode, which I just mentioned. So once you follow that, you can do wonders to your clients.
And as a final question, is there anything about psychology, anything at all that you would like to share to the world?
So, of course, psychology is amazing science. So, I still remember the definition of psychology. It's a science which involves observation of humans' behavior and their mental process, right? So, it's so interesting to know how people behave. Why do they do that? What are their thoughts behind it? And it's really sometimes challenging, but it is very satisfying also when we crack the people in front of us. We crack what is going on in their mind, and then we help them accordingly, right? So, those who would like to pursue this as a subject, I would definitely say it's wonderful subject. It's amazing science, and if you take it passionately, you can do lots of things for the society.
Wow, thank you for your insights. It's very clear how passionate you are about your field. And thank you for
Yes.
being on the show.
Thank you so much again for this platform. It's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to my very first podcast. Hopefully, you enjoyed and stay tuned for upcoming episodes as well. Have a great day.